make sure that our highest goals advance His cause? How do I make sure that my highest life goal is to advance His cause? You know, just practically speaking, how do I live my life today so that I can further and fulfill His purposes? I've been thinking, I want to give you two words. Two words that we can all do. Tell others. Tell others. Tell others about Christ. Plant a seed. Uncover a need. Give someone some much needed hope. I learned this lesson quite by accident 2 weeks ago. I was speaking at a men's breakfast in Santa Cruz. And after having a great time with the guys, I had about 90 minutes before I could get on the road and come back home. So I thought, where's a good place for me to have some coffee and just sit for about 90 minutes before I took off and head back into the Bay Area? And as I was sitting there, I pulled out my phone and I came up with 10 different coffee shops. I picked one and I found a place called the Kind Rind Coffee House. I had no idea where it was. I plugged in my GPS. It took me to a beautiful little coffee shop by the Crow's Nest in Santa Cruz. By the Crow's Nest. Great coffee shop, a beautiful day. It was right off of the beach. I walk in and I grab my coffee and I walk out and there are hundreds of people outside. And I take my coffee and I'm looking for a place just to sit in the sun and do nothing. I just want to take it in and relax. You've been there. And I found a chair and I pulled the chair up and I had my coffee. And to the right of me were perhaps 100 to 150 people, all much older than I was. It was part of a ukulele, of all things. And they're playing the ukulele. They're dancing on the beach and they're playing all these old songs like Mustang Sally and all these things that you can relate to. And they are having the time of their life. And I sat down, and as I sat down in the chair, I just listened, and I just was thoroughly taking the whole thing in. And after about 10 or 15 minutes, a lady next to me said, "Where's your uke?" I said, "Ukulele? I don't have a ukulele. I don't play." She said, "That's okay. I don't play either." And she had a ukulele strapped around her neck. I just look like I play, and I kind of follow through the motions, but you can always buy a ukulele, put it around your neck, and you can sing with it. Sounds like you're enjoying the group. And I said, "I am enjoying it, but I'm just really here. I'm kind of here from out of town." And we stopped for a minute and went on, continued to listen to music. And after a few minutes, she said, "So, where are you from?" I said, "Well, I'm actually from El Dorado Hills, and I was up here for a meeting, and on my way back, and I have to leave here in about 30 minutes." And we continued to listen to music. "So, what were you doing up here?" And I thought, "Well, I was actually at a men's church and working with a men's group, kept it real short and sweet." She says, "Well, then what were you doing at the men's group?" Well, I got the feeling that this lady wanted to talk, and I got the strong sensation that I needed to wake up. And this wasn't vacation time. And I immediately felt this sensation that God wanted me to talk to this lady. Man. And she said to me, I said to her, "Well, I was speaking at a men's breakfast where we open the Bible and we talk to men about how to grow in Christ. And it's a men's group." And then she said, "A men's group?" She says, "You know, I'm actually creating a women's group." She's not a Christian. Actually, it's a small company. And she says, "I want to reach out to ex-CEOs and CFOs, women who have lost their jobs, women entrepreneurs who have lost it and have nowhere to go." And she says, "And I want to call the organization Rise." And when she said that to me, I said, "Rise, what a great word." I was so taken back by the name of this company that she wanted to use to start this, because it was loaded with just meaning to me as I listened to this. She wants to call the name of her company Rise. And I said, what a great name. And realizing that maybe I should have a little bit more of an in-depth conversation. I said, if you're going to lead this group, have you ever considered looking into the book of Proverbs? I said, I call the book of Proverbs a businessman's handbook. And I think you could find tremendous, timeless truths in that book that you could use to lift up the ladies that you're trying to reach. And she said, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I did. And she wrote something down. And we talked for a little longer, and then I left. As I was scooting over, I still had about 30 minutes. And people were still singing away. I probably learned all of the songs that people like, maybe Bob, that you learned. I don't know. But I've learned all those songs. And one of the ladies said, hey, come over here. You're not shy, are you? And had me come in, and I started singing. I only do that because I don't know anybody from Adam. And I just had the time of my life. Spent another 30, 45 minutes with her. I'm finally done. I look at my clock. It's noon. I've got to get back to there. So I get out. I leave there. And I look around to look for this woman. Because I wanted to say goodbye to her. Didn't see her. Didn't think much about it. Turned around. Walked through the coffee shop. Walked out. And I'm now about 8 or 10 steps from my car. And as I'm walking to my car, I feel this sudden sensation to say, go back and thank her. I'm thinking, man. I look at it had been 45 minutes since I spoke with her. And there's no way I'm going to see her again. There's 150 people here. It's not going to be possible. And I wrestled right there as I was 3 steps from my car. Do I do this or do I not? And I'm thinking, man, I turn around, and as I turn around and take 10 steps, she comes walking out the door. I looked at her and I said, I cannot believe this. And I scared her, because we still had not exchanged names. And as I walked up to her, she says, are you okay? I said, I'm okay. I said, I've actually come looking for you. She said, you're looking for me? Why are you looking for me? I said, I want to come back to find you and thank you and tell you that I think the name of that company you're going to start is tremendous. And I said, the reason I wanted to come back and talk to you, I had been praying for her as I was walking to the car. Lord, somehow used the conversation we had. And I said, is that the reason I came back is I said, when you said the name of your company was Rise, all of these images flooded in my mind. I said, do you read the Bible? She says, no. I said, well, there's a great story where Jesus comes to the tomb of Lazarus. And he comes to the tomb of Lazarus, who's been dead for 4 days, and he says to Lazarus, rise and come forth. And Lazarus, who was dead, came forth and was alive to the amazement of all the people. And I said, Joan, when you told me the name of your company, that's what I thought about. What an opportunity you have to minister to these women who have lost their jobs, who have no hope. But you're going to help them rise again. She started to cry. She reached out and she hugged me. I was able to tell her again about the book of Proverbs and give her a couple of books. We exchanged phone numbers. And as I got to my car, I realized that was a God moment. I had never planned for it. I didn't intend for it. It happened to be by accident. But I realized that that is what we're supposed to be doing. Whatever it takes to plant a seed, or to give encouragement, or to inspire someone in any way that we can. Some of us need to rise. Some of us need to rise as men and take our God-ordained position to lead and to love